I'm Dave Whipple and you're watching Bush Radical. Now everybody's seen an old barn with hand-hewn beams in it. Today I just want to show you guys how that process works, and there's no magic to it. It's fun to do if you'd like a hand-hewn beam for a fireplace mantle, or to put in your garage somewhere, or for a nice post inside your house. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. We all love axe work, and it's a nice day, so let's make a beam. For this kind of work, I like to use my felling axe. This particular one is an old True Temper flint edge. This bit's pretty straight. Doesn't have a ton of curve. This is a 4-pound head on probably a 30-inch handle. This guy works really good for this purpose. I also brought out this little Michigan pattern. I just put on a new handle. I'll probably see how this guy works too. What you're going to want to do, you just work your way down the log. When you're taking the side slabs off, you're going to want to keep that handle pretty parallel. You don't want it up like this where it's going to come back and get you. Don't try to take too much off. Your first set of cuts only went so deep. Gotta work somewhere where that axe isn't gonna slip by that log and get you. Now if you had a broad axe, you could go ahead and clean this thing up to where it's pretty nice. I don't happen to have a broad axe here, so I'm just gonna work it down as best I can, trying to keep it fairly good and flat. So the idea is just to make your cuts into the log, make them as uniform as you can, then take all the chips off. That's pretty much all there is to it. Always working on the opposite side of the log if you can. I think I'll try this little Michigan pattern for a bit. A little bit of a bulge right there. I'm going to take that out with a few strokes. Now as you can see, the end is getting fairly squared up. The more smooth you want it, the more time you put into it. But the process is the same. If you had a broad axe, you can really smooth it up. It doesn't really need to be smooth, so that's up to you. Hopefully, if I did my job right, all these scores are approximately the same depth. And those scales should pop right off. You gotta true it up a little. Put some chops in where it needs to come out, and then work it down. always working on the opposite side of the log. So there you go. There's a hand-hewn beam, just like you find in Grandpa's old barn. Is it pretty? Meh. I think it is. I always love the look of these things. I think they just look awesome. Now this is just eyeballed, but it's not too far off. And with a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra patience, you can kind of take off any of the slant to the sides that you want. Dial it right into where it's as good as it ever needed to be. It's fairly square. It's a little on the rough side, but that's the way a rough hewn beam is supposed to look. So there you go. That's how to make a hand-hewn beam. It's a lot of exercise, that's for sure. Guys used to do this all the time, spend all day long siding logs with an axe. And what they would do back in the day is they'd take the bark off, they'd put a level line across each end, and then snap chalk lines down the full length, and you would work to that chalk line, keeping the corners as true as you possibly could. Then if you wanted a really good beam, a guy would come behind you with a broad axe and just clean these sides up real nice. But honestly, all the old barns that I saw growing up, they were pretty rough hewn. They didn't really get cleaned up with a broad axe like some nice beams did. You know what? Anybody can do this. There's not a ton of skill to it. It's just it's a lot of exercise. This is eyeballed and it's fairly decent. If you wanted to get it really true, of course you'd work with a chalk line. So I encourage anybody out there that finds this kind of thing interesting, grab your axe and get it good and sharp, because this requires a good sharp axe. I mean, you're going to be skipping that bit a lot, taking off little bumps and stuff, but you want that bit to bite. So you need a good sharp axe. If you got a good felling axe, it's probably the one you're going to want to use. Always work on the opposite side of the log unless you're just going straight down. You don't want to do any of this. It's more like this and then more like that. But it ain't rocket science. It's good exercise, and it's a good way to kind of dial back into what people used to do back in the day. And to get your favorite tool out and give her a good workout. Thank you guys for watching. I sure appreciate it. If you like what I'm doing, please sub to my channel, and I'll try to do the best I can to put out the kind of stuff that hopefully you'll enjoy. Thank you guys for watching Bush Radical. My name's Dave Whipple. Be radical, eh?